Hey, what's up? Samuel Leeds, and I am a landlord. And right now is a crazy time to be a landlord with coronavirus. The government have just brought in a new emergency piece of legislation that says that you cannot evict your tenants right now. For 3 months, you can't evict your tenants for any reason. So that means that if your tenant does not pay rent, if the tenant just says, I'm not going to pay rent this month, there's nothing you can do. You have to just accept it. Now, whether you think that's fair, whether you think that's not fair, I could argue both ways, but it doesn't matter what I think, it doesn't matter what you think. What matters is that you have the knowledge to be able to know what to do if you are a landlord in that circumstance. So let me just give a little bit of background to this rule and what this emergency legislation means. So it does not mean that your tenant does not have to pay rent. That's not the rule. In fact, if you go on the Citizens Advice Bureau website as a tenant and you say, I can't pay rent because of coronavirus, what do? It does not say, don't worry, just don't pay rent. It says you have to pay your rent. It says talk to your landlord and see if you can work something out. Pay as much as you possibly can. However, if you can't, you're not going to be evicted for at least 3 months. It's 3 months before, as a landlord, you can start court proceedings. Now, I get why the government are saying this, because if some people have been affected by the coronavirus and they're suffering and they're ill and they have lost their job and they can't pay their rent, the last stress that you need when you're having to be in self-isolation is to be kicked out of the one place where you can be safe. That is not cool. So I understand why the government have said that. The problem is the government haven't really brought a solution to the landlord, and the reason they haven't is because the government's perspective is, hey, you're an investor, you're a property investor, you're making lots of money, you got these investments, property's fantastic. So they're not too concerned about investors right now, which is not cool. Again, that's not cool, because who's going to pay the rent? If the tenant doesn't pay the rent, you need to pay your mortgage. You need to eat as a landlord. So who's going to pay? So it's a little bit unfair potentially, whilst I do understand it. Now, here's a few things that you can do. So firstly is you can have a holiday period for 3 months. Because here's what the government are saying. The government are saying the tenant and the landlord are in the same boat. Let me read this. This is what Housing Secretary Robert Jenrick MP said. He said, the government is clear. No renter who has lost income due to coronavirus will be forced out of their home, nor will any landlord face unmanageable debts. So basically what they're saying is, they're saying that tenants and landlords are in the same kind of boat. But the thing that they're not bearing in mind is that there's a lot of landlords that rely, they don't just need to pay their mortgage, they're relying off of the profit to live and to eat, because that's their occupation. They're a full-time landlord. And that's what the government aren't really understanding at the moment. So you can have a holiday period on your mortgage, but a holiday period on your mortgage is going to get around the problem of not being able to pay your mortgage, but it's not going to get around the problem of not having any income. So what else could you do? Well, another thing you could do, and this is really important, is communicate with your tenants. The interesting thing is, you might be thinking as a landlord, no one's going to pay rent because I can't evict them. But actually, when you read the Citizens Advice Bureau and you start researching as if you were a tenant, not paying rent is not really a great option, because all that's going to happen is you're not going to be evicted for 3 months. But then as soon as those 3 months are up, bang, you're going to get evicted. And people don't want that. And also, generally speaking, people are protected right now. The government are paying up to 80% towards for all businesses towards their employees' salaries. So most people are continuing to be paid their salary. They're working from home. They're still getting paid. They're actually not having to spend lots of money going out on nights out because they can't. They're just at home. So most people, and you might as a landlord be thinking, oh, my tenant's not going to pay rent. But most tenants probably are going to pay rent, because they don't want to be evicted in 3 months. They don't want to fall behind. They don't want to have to leave the property, and legally they do have to pay rent. They just won't be evicted for 3 months if they don't. So what I would say is, as a landlord, if you're worried, contact your tenants, communicate with them. My wife, I'm not going to take credit, my wife has been speaking to our tenants, and actually everybody's still okay with paying rent. They want to stay in the house. They don't want to be evicted after 3 months. So a lot of tenants are continuing to pay rent. So that's the first thing I'll say. Now listen, also, if you've got money aside and you're kind of comfortable and you're not absolutely banking on the income, then what I would say is don't even worry at all, because worry and fear and panic is never going to solve any problem. So maybe just, relax and wait for this to go over, because it will. However, generally speaking, I don't like to tell people to relax. What I'll say is when there's a problem, use it as an opportunity to make more money elsewhere. Jim Rohn says that the same wind blows on us all. It's not the blowing of the wind that determines the destination. It's the setting of the sail. So as my advice to you is to don't panic. Maybe if you need to, go on the holiday period for the mortgages. And I might do a whole video about that again if you want to know more about how that works. And speak to your tenants, and it probably is going to be okay. But my advice would be use these times as an opportunity to actually start making money as a property entrepreneur. You need to be an investor over here. An investor is someone that relies on passive income coming in. That's what landlords do with systemized business. It's awesome. But I really strongly, passionately believe that in order to thrive through recessions, and I'm speaking from experience because I've made money through recessions before. I got started in 2008, and in 2008, those few years of recession were actually where I really got my best deals. And I really believe that you should be an investor and a property entrepreneur. So if you're a landlord saying, oh man, what do I do? Maybe you need to learn to be a property entrepreneur. Maybe you need to learn how to deal source. There's thousands of people looking to buy properties right now under these circumstances. Find good deals, package them and sell them. Do that once, and you've got £2,000-3,000 that month that you didn't usually have. Use these times to educate yourself. Use these times to be an entrepreneur. Don't just sit back, panic and worry about rents not coming in. So that's generally my advice. Listen, this whole week, even if I have to do this at home on an iPhone in isolation, I'm going to be using this time. I'm going to be continuing to put out videos on a daily basis. They're going to be tailored towards these current circumstances, these current times. So whatever, if I can help in any way, if I can help you as an entrepreneur, if I can help you as a landlord with information, let me know what you want to know. Comment below and let me know what you want to learn about, what you want me to talk about. I'll be talking about the holiday mortgage periods and what that means and how you can potentially apply for that. I'm going to be talking about generally some of the crazy things that are happening with the coronavirus and what the government are saying. I'm going to be talking about deal sourcing. I'm going to be talking about serviced accommodation units, and if you've got rent to serviced accommodations, what to do and how to protect yourself and protect your income. So these are some of the things I'm planning on talking about, but comment below, share this video. If you know people that are in property, that are landlords, or people that are looking to get into property, share this video, because this message needs to be known. People need to know how to protect themselves. They need to know what their rights are as a landlord, what the tenant's rights are. So guys, I'm going to keep putting out content. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please do smash the like button. If you're not a subscriber, there's no better time to subscribe than now, because this channel is about to get very interesting in these times. Thank you so much. Peace out. I'll see you tomorrow.